Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be doing a little bit of technical analysis on Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency markets, because as you can see before you, the last 24 hours or so have been very good for Bitcoin, and indeed, they've been very good for the entire cryptocurrency market. As we can see, pretty much the entire cryptocurrency market is green right now, and definitely a very, very deep green as well. Bitcoin was trading inside this little triangle consolidation pattern right here just a little while ago, but actually, we've managed to get a very nice bullish breakout of it, which is very significant for Bitcoin's price action because we've managed to get back up into this little kind of trading channel in between $6,600 and $6,800. We've come up to this level before of $6,800 very recently, just a little over a week ago, a little under a week ago, and we didn't manage to get above it. But if we do get above $6,800, that is going to be very significant for the Bitcoin market. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing this little breakout, and we're going to be discussing whether or not I believe Bitcoin can get above the level of $6,800, and we'll be discussing what happens if we do. We're also going to touch on some news coming out of Coinbase, nothing major, but definitely something interesting based around Coinbase and their kind of their approach to trying to make an index fund, if you will, for cryptocurrency. It's not an index fund, but that's something you could use to kind of explain what they're talking about here. But anyway, guys, before we get into today's video, as always, if you enjoyed today's video, definitely consider dropping a like, hitting that subscribe button, and smashing the notification bell, guys. It does help out the channel if you do it, and I would be appreciative if you did it. But without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Bitcoin is currently trading at around $6,700 as of the time I'm recording this video, and like I said, the last couple of hours since when I'm recording this video, Bitcoin has been doing very, very well. We saw a very nice green candlestick right here, which is just several percent tall, about 2.5% tall here on the candle body, and about close to 3% on the wixes. And like I said, we were in this consolidation pattern, and we have seen a bullish breakout from that. Before we get into the technical analysis on Bitcoin, let's go ahead and do our crypto market recap. As always, Bitcoin, depending on the exchange you're looking at, is hovering around $6,700. We'll go ahead and give CoinMarketCap a little refresh here and see that that's exactly what we're seeing on CoinMarketCap as well. Daily volume hovering around your bog standard $4.5 billion. That's pretty standard for Bitcoin, and we're up about 3% in the last 24 hours. Being up 3% in 24 hours for Bitcoin is definitely something that's very, it's not massively significant, but it's definitely a good thing to see, because when Bitcoin is up that much, that's typically a good thing. And the reason it's a good thing is because volatility has dropped off a lot, and we're also in a bear market. So when you have those two things combined, even so much as a 3% gain is something that is quite positive. And the altcoin market is doing even better. Ethereum's up around 6% today, and it's hovering around $230. If we have time at the end of the video, I don't know if we will, I'll go ahead and show you some stuff on Ethereum. We may have to save that for tomorrow's video though. But daily volume for Ethereum, I should say, is hovering around 2 billion. Definitely a healthy daily volume. Bitcoin Cash was doing very, very well yesterday. Bitcoin Cash yesterday was hovering around 27% in the green. I didn't manage to catch that. That happened in between the recording of this video and yesterday's video, but Bitcoin Cash has had a very, very good week. It was up around 27%, and that kind of shows through in its daily volume, hovering up here above XRPs at $1 billion in daily volume. If we sort by change over the last 24 hours here, what we're going to see is that the altcoin market, like I said in the intro, has been doing phenomenally well. Electroneum is up 65% in the last 24 hours, which is absolutely ridiculous. I know some of you guys are big fans of Electroneum, and honestly, I don't see how you couldn't be a big fan of Electroneum when it's running 65% in the last 24 hours. If you guys are thinking about FOMOing in and getting in on Electroneum now, be very careful. I'm not going to get into technical analysis on Electroneum, but you guys have to remember that when an altcoin, when a cryptocurrency, when anything in general runs 65% in a day, sometimes you want to step back and say, is this overextended? Is this worth a 65% gain? How far away are we from the underlying intrinsic value of this asset? What is Electroneum actually worth? Make sure you're doing your technical and your fundamental analysis before you go and jump on the hype train for something like Electroneum, because that's one of the quickest ways to lose money, is jumping on something just because it's rallying. Because a lot of times the things that you're going to jump on are the things that look most appealing, and the things that look most appealing are typically rallying, and typically when they're rallying as hard as that, they're probably close to the end. And keep that in mind, guys. Anyway, like I was talking about, the actual altcoin markets are doing pretty well today. We see a lot of double-digit gainers. We see, was that about 7 double-digit gainers today? A lot of double-digit gainers. The altcoin market is doing very, very well. If we scroll down here to the bottom, we see some losers. We see Tether is down. Of course, Tether doesn't count because it's a stable coin. We see TrueUSD is down also. But other than those two, we see about 8 altcoins which are actually in the red, not including TrueUSD and Tether, because of course they are stable coins tethered to the US dollar. But overall, the altcoin market is definitely doing quite well. Total market capitalization has started to recover, guys. We've talked about recently about how total market capitalization had kept coming down to this level of around $190 billion, a little bit below that actually. But actually recently we've actually started to, I don't know how many times I can say actually recently we've actually started to move up actually, because as we can see, if we come in here to the 3-month chart, we've started to move up here from our lows down here around $190 billion recently. We came down to these levels several times, which was kind of worrying because like I've said in the support and resistance video in the technical analysis course, link in the description by the way, when you come down to the same level of support or resistance several times, a core principle in technical analysis is that the more times you test a level of support or resistance, in general, the weaker it gets, especially after you've tested it more than 3 or 4 times. And that's one of the things you want to keep in mind, is that when we come down to this level again, it may be indicative that the bears want to push us even lower, but that's not what's happened. We started trending upwards here, and we're trading around $250 billion of market volume, or total market capitalization, excuse me, which is definitely a lot better than where it had been recently. Anyway, with all that said, let's go ahead and get on to the main technical analysis portion of today's video. I talked about in yesterday's video about how Bitcoin was in this triangle consolidation pattern. You can watch that video up in the top right if you're interested in my take on Bitcoin just a little while ago before we actually had this breakout. And I was talking about how it was very important for Bitcoin to get above $6,600. And I was worried that we weren't going to. I was worried that we were going to come down here and and best case scenario, come down here and test this level of support. But I was also talking about in that video how strange it is that we actually got a bounce at 63.50. And one thing that indicates to me that I didn't elaborate on in yesterday's video is the fact that the bears didn't manage to push us all the way down to the level of support that we were supposed to go to, this uptrend right here. And let me zoom out and show you guys what this uptrend is if you didn't see yesterday's video. That uptrend is exactly where we would have expected Bitcoin to go. But an interesting thing has happened because the bears weren't able to push us down that far. Now there's different ways you can interpret that, but one of the ways that I'm going to interpret it is that the bears were not strong enough to push us all the way down to that level, and we got a bounce before we even got to the level, which is actually a point in the favor of the bulls. How strong of a point that is in the favor of the bulls, not really. It's not the biggest point in the favor of the bulls, but it is an indication that the bulls are stronger because they didn't even let the market push us all that far down. We weren't even able to go down to this level. That's one thing that doesn't apply in, like, this isn't the best case scenario of what I'm talking about here, but this is an example of what I'm talking about where you don't even get to go all the way down to a level of support, and that sometimes indicates that the bears, or excuse me, that the bulls are very, very strong. We saw a similar thing happening over here in April, wherever the chart will load, where we didn't actually manage to go all the way down to $6,500 to around $6,000. We only pulled back to around $6,500, which was actually a sign that the bulls were rather strong because we didn't even manage to go all the way down to that level of support. We only came down kind of close to it, down to that zone. But anyway, what we saw in the last 24 hours or so is that Bitcoin, like I said, was in that consolidation pattern, and we were kind of worried that we were going to break bearish out of that because typically consolidation patterns are continuation patterns. But at the end of the day, that's only a generalization, and it really doesn't matter when you get this tight in on a consolidation pattern, whether or not it's a continuation pattern. A lot of times what's going to happen here is that you're going to come down to random chance. And I'll explain what that means in just a second. But what we were worried about is that Bitcoin had a downtrend coming into this consolidation pattern. Consolidation patterns are typically reversal patterns, so we were worried that we were going to break down. And instead, actually, we've broken bullish. One thing you want to keep in mind with consolidation patterns is that the closer you get to the actual climax of the consolidation pattern, where the downtrend of resistance and the uptrend of support converge, a lot of times, whether or not you're going to break bullish or you're going to break bearish, the technical analysis on that goes straight out the window, and it comes down to random chance. We weren't quite there just yet because we were trending up, but what I'm talking about here is that when you get really, really tight in here and you trade like over here and somewhere, then all you have to do is you have to have one bull and you have to have one bull or bear whale just come in and buy a bunch of Bitcoin or short a bunch of Bitcoin, sell a bunch of Bitcoin, do something to the market. You have one whale come in, then you break the downtrend or the uptrend, and then the rest of the market gets really happy, and then they start shorting or longing, and then the market actually breaks the consolidation pattern. That's not really what happened here, in my opinion. It did look like we were going to break bullish out of it after we've been trending up here and testing the level of resistance up here rather than the level of support down here. So we did break above it, and that's a very good thing. And we also broke a very important level of resistance in doing so of $6,600. We've been looking at this zone of resistance in between $6,500 and $6,600 for the better part of the last 2 weeks. And it's an important zone and level of support, or excuse me, well, support and resistance actually, because we've been trading above and below it. And getting above it's a very good sign, because we talked about in the Fibonacci retracement, the Fibonacci consolidation pattern video, you can watch that video in the top right also, is that one of the things I was worried about with this kind of failed rally that we've seen Bitcoin partake in here is that we never actually went all the way up to the 61.8% Fibonacci level. Now, I'm not going to be able to get into this video what I'm talking about. Go watch the Fibonacci video I just linked in the top right, and you'll see what I'm talking about there. But we didn't manage to actually confirm market structure like we'd seen, where Bitcoin would go up to the 61.8% Fibonacci level on its retracements, on its recoveries and its rallies, I should say, like it has been doing for the majority of the year. As you can see, we only came up here to around the 50% level, and we didn't manage to get up here and continue that market structure. But now that we've broken back up above $6,600 in such a bullish way, it does look like that we may be about to see something like that happen. And I could very easily see Bitcoin coming up here and knocking on $6,800 door and about $7,000 door, up here around $6,900 door, where the 61.8% retracement level is here on the Fibonacci tool. And like I've said in the Fibonacci video as well, that would correlate pretty well with the test of this downtrend right here, and that would be an excellent way to reconfirm market structure. From there, if that's what's going to happen from there, what we'll likely see is that we're going to see a lot of trading around this downtrend right here. If we break it, good Lord, is that going to be a very good day for Bitcoin? Because if we break this downtrend right here, this long-term downtrend, that's going to be very significant because that's a very powerful downtrend. If we don't break it, we're probably going to end up breaking it in the next month or so because this downtrend crosses an uptrend in less than a month. I'm going to be doing a dedicated video on this in a little while, but for right now, just know that this is a very significant downtrend, and I think we're going up to test it because we're really not that far away from it. If we trade sideways for a week, then we're going to hit it. I think at this point, we're at least going to go up and test it. If we break it, it's going to be very, very bullish for the market, guys. Tell me in the comment section down below what you think of that. We have one more piece of technical analysis to throw in on this, and then we're going to get onto the Coinbase news. And the last thing that I want to throw in here is MACD, because I talked about it a couple videos ago. I don't remember exactly what it was. You guys can browse the channel and try and find it. But in that video, I was talking about how the histogram here, we could see the histogram bars here, were coming down. And what that means is that this top line right here, this kind of bluish line, whatever color that is, I'm colorblind, guys, that kind of bluish line was curving back down towards the signal line. And that was indicating that we were probably about to see a bearish cross. But as you can see right here, the MACD, the histogram was curving down, and then it started curving back up. And that's because this MACD line was getting closer to the signal line, and then it started going the other direction. And that's a very good thing because we were worried about a bearish cross on the MACD, and now we don't have to worry about that as much because it started to reverse. And the reason it started to reverse is because Bitcoin has started trending upwards, and that is a very good sign for the market indeed. Tell me what you guys think about that. I think we're at least going up to this downtrend here. We'll talk about in tomorrow's video or the next video, whichever video we do it in, about whether or not I think we're going to break that. It's kind of a complicated subject, so I want to do a dedicated video on that, but I definitely think we're at least going to test this downtrend now that we've gotten back up above the key level of support and resistance of $6,600. With all that said, I think we've covered everything we want to talk about with Bitcoin technical analysis today, so let's go ahead and ramble a little bit about Coinbase. One thing I want to get out of the way very early is that I'm a user of Coinbase, and I'm a big fan of Coinbase because one thing that Coinbase does very well is Coinbase has always done a very good job of getting the word of cryptocurrency, getting the gospel of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto's gospel out there for the world to see. Coinbase has always done a very good job, at least in my opinion, of actually increasing awareness and obviously also increasing adoption because of how many people use Coinbase. It's actually surprising how many people I meet that know about Coinbase. A lot of times it feels like the only people I know that know about cryptocurrency are on online niches, but actually you find that there's a lot of people in the real world that know about cryptocurrency, which is a very bullish thing in my opinion. Anyway, I went off on a little tangent there, but what I wanted to make, the point I wanted to make is that Coinbase has done a very good job of innovating in the space and doing what they need to do to bring about more awareness and more adoption into the cryptocurrency space, so kudos to Coinbase for that. Anyway, the news that we're talking about with Coinbase here is a new feature that they're rolling out called the Coinbase Bundle. Digital currency exchange Coinbase has announced Coinbase Bundle. It will allow users to buy all 5 available cryptocurrencies with just one purchase. So essentially what they've done here is Coinbase lists 5 different cryptocurrencies. They list Bitcoin, obviously, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, and ETH Classic. And essentially what they've done is they've taken those 5 altcoins, or the 4 altcoins in Bitcoin, I should say, and made kind of an index fund. It's not an index fund, but that's kind of what it is. It's a fund that actually tracks the price of these 5, tracks the valuation and the price of these 5 cryptocurrencies in accordance, I believe, to their market dominance. I think that's the way they're doing it. But anyway, what we want to talk about here is exactly that, because it's interesting that they're adding more ways to invest. It's always a good thing to see that they're adding more functionality because some people don't want to have to go in. There are some people that want to invest, but they're so lazy that they don't want to invest in each one of them individually. And it's nice to have this kind of functionality for the people that are just the everyday investor. They just want to throw $100 into Bitcoin and into the Coinbase Bundle in this case, and then just see what happens. A lot of people aren't going to sit around at the markets and look at the market every 2 hours, every like 15 minutes actually, like some of us will, including myself on some days. A lot of people just don't have the time for that, nor do they have the patience for that, nor do they have the care for that. And it's features like these coming out of Coinbase which help with that and help to encourage awareness and adoption, which is something that we desperately need in the market that we're currently standing in. I can tell you from experience, I run a cryptocurrency YouTube channel. One of the big problems that crypto has right now is that nobody cares anymore. Now, of course, the people in the space care, but a lot of the people that did care in January and December and November of 2017 and 2018, they've all left, and we need to get those people back, or at least, I don't want to say it, but replacements of those people back so that we can have more money flowing into the market and get a new bull run started, and of course, help with the actual development and the growth of the blockchain and the cryptocurrency space. Anyway, I went on a little bit of a ramble here, but this is basically what you guys need to know. They've launched something called Coinbase Bundle. If we come down here, we'll go ahead and read a little bit about it. According to Coinbase, the breakdowns of bundles are calculated by multiplying the price of each cryptocurrency by the circulating supply at transaction time. The exchange says buying fees will not be any different than if a user purchased each cryptocurrency separately. Coinbase charges a 1.5% commission rate on purchases. This is just a lot of blah, 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 of course, but there's no cap on maximum purchase size for bundle, but the smallest one can be purchased for is $25, which is something that is obviously very important. That it's not very important, but it's an important detail to know if you guys are going to come in here and invest in something like this. For example, the digital currency exchange wrote in an FAQ page how customers are able to sell off portions of bundles, but not able to send or sell them all together in a single transaction. Additionally, Coinbase is not able to provide tracking information about a bundle specific aggregate performance. Blah 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 blah. This article is titled "Coinbase Announces Coinbase Bundle" by the Crypto Globe. If you guys want to come and read this article in full, feel free to type that into Google, and I'm sure you'll find it very quickly. But this video is coming to an end, guys. Tell me in the comments section down below what you think of the technical analysis today. I'm very happy to see that Bitcoin did actually manage to break bullish out of that consolidation pattern, and I like that we're trending upward because I am a little bit concerned about the health of the cryptocurrency space. I have been for several months, and of course the apocalypse hasn't happened or anything. We're all still here, but at the end of the day, it is nice to see Bitcoin moving up. Of course, we're never going to complain about Bitcoin looking a little green. Tell me in the comments section down below what your opinion is on that. And also, guys, the course launched back on Sunday, and a lot of people have been joining the course, and everybody so far has been very happy with the course. I'm very happy with the course myself. And actually, as far as I haven't gotten a single piece of negative feedback so far. If you guys are interested in signing up for the course, or even just checking out the course and seeing what it has to offer, if you click the link in the first link at the top of the description, you can go and see what each of the videos in the course is about. We talk about TradingView, we talk about a bunch of different indicators. Every single indicator that is up on the chart right now, except for stochastic RSI, I have a dedicated video on explaining to you guys how it works. And I also have a lot of videos talking about the methodologies and the ideologies and a lot of the different not so technical things that go into technical analysis, like gut feeling. I talk about those things in the course, and I really do stand by the product, guys, and that's why we have the refund policy that we do, which if you don't like the course and you watch less than 30% of the material in the first 14 days, I'll give you a full refund, no questions asked. So you really have no risk on buying the course. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you guys go ahead and join the course because I am very happy about it, and so are the people that are in it. But that's going to do it for this video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.